Hello, my spooky friends. It is Stacy, and welcome to Special Effects Makeup on a Budget. And today I'm going over Mehron's UV paints. UV paints show up a little bit more around Halloween and the spooky season with Halloween costumes, festivals, and carnivals. So I thought I'd take an opportunity to walk you through Mehron's website, take a look at their price point, show you some swatches, and give you my final thoughts at the end. So stick around and let's get to it. So in taking a look at the Mehron's website, please forgive the live StreamYard banners that are up. I currently have not upgraded this software service because I'm looking forward to bringing you guys some live makeup feeds a little bit later on, but I haven't gotten used to it yet, but I did know that I could record going through this website. Now, Mehron does kick it up a notch a little bit in their advertising, and they do have some deals around Halloween. One of the things you need to know is that they have been around for several decades and they do paints and makeups very well. They also have a line of special effects makeup, so when you go to Spirit Halloween, what you're seeing is Mehron products. So the adhesive from the cream and the gel paints, that's all Mehron products, but what they don't have is the pan products and the palettes, which I'm about to show you. Now they do offer special character kit setups if that's something that you're looking for. So for instance, this clown makeup, it comes with several different items. You see that it has a brush and 3 sets of colors, the blue, the black, the red, and also the clown white. It comes with a small sponge, a brush, and also with setting powder and a little bit of blood. They also have a little bit of a card in it that will walk you through how to do certain looks. For instance, if you're looking to do an evil clown versus a fun clown, they have that. But in my opinion, this kit running at $20 is a little bit much in the price for what you get. I think if you were only going to do a makeup once or twice, you probably need to stick to something you could find at different retailers such as Walmart or the craft store. But I think at $20 you can skip some of the products that are in here because you can get brushes and sponges a lot cheaper, and you can also watch an online special effects tutorial to find out how to do a certain style of makeup. So I don't think the makeup style card is needed. But for right now, what I want to get into is their Paradise palettes. They are the palettes that come, as you see here, several pans. There's different kinds. There's a create your own pan, and they're also magnetic, so you can buy replacements for them. I do like that because I tend to use a certain color a little bit more than others. So for the non-UV paints in the Paradise collection, that is a water paint, is this area here. It's the Paradise Makeup AQ for Aqua. They have several different variants and colors. As you can see here, you can pick what you want. And at $34.95, it may seem like a very steep price to have, but take a look a little bit further with me and just hang out. Don't decide right away until you see some swatches and some other things that they actually offer. So here we have the Mehron FX palettes. This is the metallic and the neon shades. Only the neon or UV, but they group the metallics and the UV into special effects. Now the 8 color pan palettes that are magnetic come with a 0.25 ounce pan, and they're easy to pop out and refill if that is what you need. But this pan runs $34.95 just like the other ones, but you get an extra payoff with them being UV. Also, Mehron makeup is cruelty and vegan free and also made in the United States in New York. I do like that about them. I like that they're clear and to the point about how and where their makeup is made. And I'm going to go ahead and let you take a look at the video that they have online to stop you from having to go and take a look yourself. So they show these in water just to let you know that these are activated water paints. A very little bit will activate them. I did not have a hard time getting anything onto my brush as I have used several different kinds of water activated paint. These are very opaque and very fun to use, and I did enjoy the creations that I made with them. which I will show you here in a little bit, but wonderful, fun, bright, vivid colors along with it being UV. Now I want to read you their description on the website. It says, Mehron's world-famous premium quality water-based FX paint. Our metallic collection contains highly pigmented, shimmering metallic hues. In our neon UV glow, shades provide bold color in daylight and bright, colorful glow under UV light. Paradise FX shades are available in 8 color palettes, pro sizes at 1.4 ounces and 40 grams in a pan, and metal refill sizes at 0.25 ounces, which is 7 grams. They can be easily popped in and out of our magnetic 8 color palette to refill and customize. So going back to the front of their site, they have Shop the Spooky Store, their bloods available along with their Paradise paints, and their 31 Days of Mehron Halloween contest, along with a backstory about how they got started. Now, I do know that they have several giveaways that go on around October, along with special sales, and if you sign up for newsletters or text messaging or create an account, I believe there's some discount along the way. There were a couple of them that were coming in a few days ago, but those are gone. So find them on all these social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They are available, and I'm going to roll this back so you can see the very beginning of their little spooky hands that are holding the products. I just love things like that, and I think it's very cool. I do also love the fact that they have some skin prepping items. I don't think necessarily that all skin prepping items are needed. When you can use a setting spray with regular makeup, or you could prep your skin a little bit differently and not have to buy extended products, but sometimes they offer that with it when you order a bundle or certain things like that. Now, I've never had a problem with shipping or customer service. I can tell you that right now. I've ordered a couple more products after I got my Paradise Paint palettes, so it's time to see if it delivers from what you see from the website, from what you get in reality. And here we have the sleeve packaging. On the back, it shows you what the color will be with and without the UV light, so I do like that point about it on the back. And this pan is very heavy. I was really surprised at the quality of it because it's cardboard with metallic. And there's a lot of times that we know that packaging can suffer a little bit, but the product is very good. But not Mehron. They did it right. The pans are heavy and magnetic, have this wonderful protective sleeve, all the information and the ingredients on the back. I do love the stylized version of it on the front with the paint dripping down, because they really do get us. They totally get us Halloween enthusiasts, special effects makeup lovers, and people that just love to play in makeup. And again, with the actual package itself, once you pull that out, it has the name of the colors on the back. And again, also listing their ingredients. So when you see that I open this up, mine is very well used. I always keep the protective cover because I've mixed paints, and it's very precious to use everything that you can get out of your products, which is what I like to do, even if I have to scrape the bottom of a barrel to get something out for another application. You see that the magnetic palette is very tough and it holds, and it's a very thick palette, very good weight, not flimsy at all. So the first row of colors in this is the red, the green, purple, and orange. And then at the bottom we have the blue, pink, yellow, and the white. So now it's time for swatches, and I have some cups with water here. One is to activate the paint, and the other one is to clean the brush. So with just a very little bit of water, I put that onto my brush, and I go in and I activate this first color, which is the red. And I have absolutely zero skin prep. There's nothing on, so this is just going on to bare skin right here. And with a little bit of water and activating that red, you'll see that this first swatch is very opaque. There's not a whole lot of water that's going into this pan, but I get my brush saturated, and this is with 1, 2, 3, and you can see that the opacity really didn't change from that first swatch to the other 3 swipes through on the paint. And I'll leave in the footage of how I transition from one color to the next. It's very easy to clean the brushes in between. It doesn't take a lot of scrubbing or soap to get this out. But here is the green. And it is a very good neon green color if that's something that you're looking for. And again, going in, changing my brushes, swishing it around in water, and then going back in with the purple and swatching that onto the arm. Depending on how much water you're using to get your brush saturated, I don't think it is that much variation in time from a swatch like this to actually application onto the skin in a bigger area, which I'll show you the looks I created with it. But next is the orange. Very good, nice, bright hue and an orange color. And you can already see that the first two colors have almost completely dried. So like I said, it's not a lot of time in between application, and they do not streak. I do love that about them. They're very creamy. They feel very good on the skin. Now here is the blue swatch. Lovely color, bright neon, looks very, very great. A little bit more opaque on some of those that are lighter in color, such as the blue and the pink along with the white. Now here is the activation on the pink. It hasn't been used as much, so I had to activate it a little bit more. I have not used the pink, but it is still also a beautiful color. Very opaque, very bright and neon. Now going in with this next color, this is the yellow. This color will flip your head. It will flip your head in regular light and also ultraviolet light. This is my favorite color in the palette, along with the blue and the red, but it is fantastic. It is like out of this world neon. And a lot of times paint that is yellow and some of the harder colors like that, it's hard to get it to show up on anything you put it on, but this one showed up pretty good, and I went through with it a little bit more so that you could see how opaque you can get it. You might have to actually go through and do a couple of strokes with your brush a little bit more. But the only thing that disappoints me about this palette is the white. I really thought that since it was a white paint that it would look more opaque on the skin and that you would get that nice neon, that bright glow in the UV, which you do. It is very bright, but to me, I found it hard to get this one opaque. Even after it dried and I pushed my brush through it, it just seems to kind of separate the paint a little bit. So my advice, if you're going to get this paint and use this, is once you do a brush stroke, let that dry completely and then tap in the areas that you lost color due to the actual brush stroke. So now it's time to see these swatches in ultraviolet light. And wow, look at that. That green and that yellow and that white really do pop. I think all the colors look good. I think they are all bright and glowy, except for the actual pink color. The purple is a little different. It's not as bright, but it still glows a little bit more than the orange and the pink. I think the orange and the pink suffer a little bit, so you would absolutely have to saturate those colors a little bit more. And because these are thin brush strokes, I wanted to show you what the pan looked like as a whole and how bright that it is. It's still, I believe, what you see on the skin is what you see in the pan. So I don't think there is a misguided or a wrong photo from the website to how they perform from the pan. The opacity from the pan, no matter how light the brush stroke, how much paint you're using, is absolutely what you're going to get when you apply it. But I thought these were stunning. Take a look at these swatches again on the arm. And I put the Blacklight as close up as I could possible without filming it into the lens of the camera itself. But you see how bright that pink is a little bit. So let's talk about transfer. You can see that once they dry, they do not smudge, but they do lose a little bit of the opacity. And some of it does rub off onto the skin itself. So you will get a little bit of transfer if you don't lock it down with a setting spray. But then again, I don't think it's really that necessary. Depending on how long you're going to wear your makeup, are you going to be smooching? If you're drinking, it might come off on a cup. But if that don't bother you, you don't need it, because you can see what the actual transfer is without the UV light. So if you're willing for that payoff, you can get by with buying this palette for $34. Save some money as a first-time buyer with some new shipping qualities and bundles without having to buy extra skin prep or things like that. So let's talk about cleanup. How well does it clean up? It doesn't require soap and water. With just a little bit of water and the same paper towel, I went through and I was able to clean this up a pretty good bit. The only thing is I didn't prep my skin at all for a barrier to protect it, so I did have a little bit of blue and that red that stained the skin. So be mindful of that. And the best way without buying their products to prep the skin is to put a barrier, maybe a lotion or a setting spray over it before you apply the paints. So now it's time to show you some of the looks I created with this palette. Now I did purchase the Neon UV Glow palette along with the pastel palette. So in this one is the They Live alien from the John Carpenter's movie starring Roddy Piper, where when he puts the glasses on, he sees aliens and it tells him to obey and submit and things like that. So in this video, I am using the blue, and this is the neon. And in this look, I needed the colors to look like they did without the UV, and then also glow the same way and be similar with the UV. So that was the look I was going for here. You see that a very little bit went a long way for a lot of this design. The blue was absolutely stunning, and everything went onto the skin without it being streaky, and it did not dry out my skin either. And at this point, I don't believe that I went in for my first trial to see with anything on, so I didn't prep my skin with anything. I just went in bare skin like this and decided to paint because I really wanted to test these. I wanted to feel if they wicked moisture away from my skin, how comfortable they were, if they were going to flake without any prep. So I'm telling you, you could just pick up the palette and not have to worry about picking up some other things. If that is something that you're going for, that might help you save a little bit of money. So I was able to activate the red with a very small amount of water, and this is to represent the muscle in this design of this look. And you can see with very little paint that it was very opaque in the first swatch through onto the skin, but I wanted it to be a little bit darker because that's what the look called for in the movie. So I did go back over it twice with the red. So the only problem I had with this was the white. I was not prepared to not see it when I applied it because I did not swatch these before I actually used them on my skin. So I went in with a regular white paint because we know that that shows up in an ultraviolet light pretty good. Just like if you remember in the show Friends where Ross whitens his teeth and then shows up with a date that has a black light in her living room. So yeah, that part was a little bit weird, so I went over it twice just to be sure that that was the actual color it was supposed to be. I tried twice to go through this and make it as opaque as possible, but it worked out well because it was very bright and white for the actual skin and the makeup of this look. So here is the final makeup. You can see in this look that I used white paint along with black paint so I could etch out some details, and they just worked very well with another water-based paint that was not their brand. So that's a good point for them also. You can mix colors up because once you see that chin is white, those teeth you can see, the black you could tell, and it separates both colors that are UV. So I absolutely loved it for this look, and I was wanting to do something a little bit different and to just kick it up a little bit because it's a favorite Carpenter movie and it's very campy and very odd. So I wanted something a little bit better, something that would make you go, wow, this is the makeup, but it's also this. So I like the duality of both the natural light and the UV. So it's time for the other makeup. Now I used both palettes of the pastel and the UV to create this Northern Lights alien. Now this is on air foam clay, so once it dries you can paint over it, and I did not have a hard time applying from any palette, anything to this actual prosthetic piece. It was easy to get full opacity, it was not streaky, and it was absolutely gorgeous once I was able to start putting in details like the indentions around the top of the skull of this alien look. I took the purple and then I also mixed that in and was able to bleed out colors because it is water. If I didn't like a line, I was able to go back in and just buff that out a little bit, and I do like that in my paints. That's why I use a lot of eyeshadows, because I like to buff out colors and mix colors together as well. But you can see that once I tapped that yellow all over, I had this wonderful pastel green look, but then when I applied the black light to it, you can see that I was able to paint with the black light on. So I went back and forth between natural light and black light because my idea for this alien was that yes, it looked like an alien in a certain way, but I also thought of those bright, dancing, wonderful northern lights that we were seeing in the sky at that time. It was unusual to see them from certain places in the United States and from all over the world. So I wanted that look to be different, but I also wanted it to go with the actual sculpt of the alien. So you see it in natural light, and then also you see it in the black light. You can see I was able to put the purple and the blue just to get some of those across the helmet, the top of the alien, to look and have details that were a little bit different. I was really able to bring out the details that I etched into this design. And I did the same thing when I applied this onto the skin. I didn't prep anything because I liked the way that they felt the first time that I used them. So I went in and I did my pastel green, and I went in with my purple, and in order to make that look like an accent, I took the light light UV, and I made sure that once I had all the lights turned out and the black light hit it, that all these other etchings showed up in the chest of the alien. And this was a great way for me to challenge myself, because not only did I have the sculpt that I had to deal with the details, I had to make it look like two different types of things from one light setting to the other. And I have yet to photograph the aurora borealis and those wonderful lights and see them, so I decided to create my own little northern light show with this alien. So what are my overall thoughts about these palettes? Do I think it's worth the price tag? Yes, I absolutely do, because I have used them for a long period of time, and they go a lot longer than the tubes that you get at other retail stores. I think they're better quality. I think they feel great on the skin. I think they perform exactly how they should. Never had a problem with customer service or shipping, and often, especially at the end of the year, from Halloween into those cyber site sales, I think this is a great way to pick something up and have a good product. I would not recommend anything to you that I did not extensively use myself and found out that I could get away with doing certain things with it, how to make it last longer. So yes, I think it's worth it. I am not affiliated with it. They're not paying me to do this review, so I don't have any affiliate codes or anything like that to offer you guys. Just go on their website, take a look, and find out what works for you, what your price range is, because you can get some of these colors. You can order a palette, magnetic palette, and just pick the colors you want to go into yours and save yourself some money. That is another way to do it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope it helps you out and decide what it is that you're going to use your colors for. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying your time. And if you want to see another product review that might save you time and money, why not check out this eye stencil tutorial, see if it works for you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.